Abuelitas say they are fine, though the pain is there. They hide the truth so that not one must care. Now, the young ones are loud, and abuelitas, well, they drift apart. And then silence settles in the heart. Welcome to a new episode of Entre Abuelitas. I am your host, Liliana Montenegro. Thank you so much for joining us. You know, this program is dedicated to all generations from each of us, your abuelitas. And I hope that you keep joining us week after week. Did you like my little poem at the beginning of the show? Well, the last sentence said, then silence settles in the heart. And that's what we aim to talk about in today's program. You know, through the generations changing with time, and we talk about this a million times in every episode. Because times are changing, we have to remember to get to know our abuelitas, especially if you are a family member. And you know why? Because in the time, like I'm going to be 70 in a couple of weeks. So proud and happy about that. But we have abuelitas in their 80s and their 90s. And you know what they told us back in the time is don't bother people. Do your own thing. Don't ask for favors. You know, so abuelitas will remain quiet through the years. And it is that new form of communication that we must learn so that we can know that abuelitas sometimes are not fine and they truly, truly need us. Now, you know that the truth is that talking is what keeps us alive and listening is what keeps us young. The one thing I did look into is how many of us right now are part of the United States. Well, it's 17% the elderly population right now in the United States, with elderly from 65 and up. Now, these elderly are expected to live now 19 to 20 years more. I mean, I'm looking for 30, so okay, cool. But, you know, at the same time, it's like, what do we do with this life that God has given us? We need to communicate to our family members so that we can form a plan of attack, if you want to call it, because everybody needs to help each other as we grow older. And listen, you have to pay a little bit of attention because by 2050, the elderly population will be a quarter of the population.
Wow.
That is a lot. That is all of you listening to me right now. So let's get a plan into action. Let's learn a little bit about the abuelitas that have already been there. We are living so much longer that we remember so many more things. I mean, rotary phones, phone booths where Clark Kent became Superman, Mr. Whipple, and even if I take it further, how about Mr. Ed? If any of you want to Google that one. And on top of that, like I've already started clearing out some of the files on my brain because I need to learn so much more. I've learned how to create this podcast. I teach myself every day a little something, and that's where the new technology comes in that is so important nowadays. AI, yeah, I'm not scared of it. I'm not scared of any of it. We have lived through a lot. But the most important thing that abuelitas need to learn is how to text so that we can text those beautiful grandchildren of ours. Because abuelitas do wait patiently for a phone call, a chat, a quiet moment with them. So I keep challenging each and every one of you every week to visit your abuelita, to give her a call, to stay for a while and quietly just hug her and listen to the silence. I'm especially talking to you, younger and newer generations. We have lived long enough to know which mistakes will hurt you twice and which shortcuts never to take in life. And as an abuelita, well, I know that the secret to living a longer life, it doesn't depend really on kale or spinach or any vitamin. It depends on conversation. It depends on keeping our minds stimulated so that our bodies can keep moving forward. Now, you have to know that the reason why I love this podcast so much is because it keeps me alive. It keeps me in touch with every one of you, and I continue to stay alert and highly opinionated. And you must know also that aging quietly was never part of my life's plan. Oh, but wait, what time is it? Oh, yes. It is that time, that very important time where I introduce to all of you my guest for the week. Now, this beautiful, amazing human being, Abuelita, is a mother, a proud dog mom, a caring human being, and an amazing friend. And now it is it is time to introduce her because I have to tell you, she is a kind woman. I mean, kindness is her middle name. And I'm going to tell you right now why. She can never walk past an elder in need because hesitation is not part of her vocabulary. If there's a lonely senior out there nearby, she will find them. Absolutely. You will see her with them. And then you will see that elderly person. They have been fed, cleaned, listened to, and loved. What a gift from this incredible human being. She doesn't ask for applause or any reward. Why? Because she knows that God has her back. So
Amen.
let's not wait any longer and introduce to Entre Abuelitas this amazing human being. Please meet Sheree Johnson. Yay!
Yay! Hello. That was an awesome opening, Lily. Thank you so much. I'm blessed and honored to be here this evening. I love your show. I love the statements that you're making, and being a granny is busy. It's great.
It's not easy.
It's not at all
Tell us a little
easy.
bit about your beginnings. Are you an LA girl? Where did it all start? Where did it all start?
Oh, actually, an Eastern girl. I'm a New York City girl. Came to California. Yes. And loving it. Would never go back. Um, but mainly I'm a community advocate. You know, I love helping. I'm a mom of 5 daughters, and I like to call myself a purpose driven granny. Okay,
Oh,
because because there's definitely I don't fit into the traditional. A lot of other things are going on to mold me into the grandmother that I am, and I believe that grandmotherhood is based on wisdom, nurturing, and serving. So that's what I do.
you said you're not the traditional granny. I think that's why we became friends. I have talked over and over how I am not really nobody's cup of tea. You know, I'm loud. I can be obnoxiously cruel, raw, and there's not too many people that can handle that. And so far, we're doing pretty good.
We're doing pretty good. Yeah. I would say that as well. I agree.
tell, tell me about these 5 wonderful children of yours.
Whew. A blended family, of course. I did not have time to have 5. Had I started earlier, I probably would have had more than 2. But I have 2 biological daughters, one from husband number 1, one from husband number 2, and the rest are in between. The youngest of which she came to be with us at the age of 4, and the other 2 were older. The oldest daughter, um, I was very concerned when we met because she has sickle cell, and I had never interacted with anyone that had it. And just what she was going through made me become an advocate and an assistant to her to help her go through whatever she needed to go through. And, it's a
And
forever battle.
I know that I have personally seen you go through moments, and here you are running from one hospital or one child to another. For those of who are listening who don't know what sickle cell is, can you give them a brief some explanation of what it is?
Very quickly, because I have an expert that I would like you to have on the show,
And
and
yes, we
she
have
can,
another show coming up.
yes,
Yes.
and she can go very deep with it. But simply, red blood cells are sickled. When they sickle, they can't travel through the canals that they need to travel through, which
Hmm.
causes extreme pain that no one should ever have to go through. And that's what lands them in the hospital in crisis, for weeks to months at a time. And
Wow,
it's
I know
it's
it's
just
a
horrible. Yeah.
it is a sad situation, and
Mhm.
I when I hear about it from you that one of your children, that your daughter is in the hospital, her strength
Mhm.
is what I admire the most about her, because she still has a smile on her face when she
Yes.
leaves. She's
Yes.
very kind, and she has accepted this. I don't know, this luggage that she's carrying with her through life
Mhm.
with such acceptance that I mean, she has to be godly touched, you know? She really
Absolutely.
is.
Yes.
Yeah. And
Mhm.
so are you. Now, let me backtrack a little bit. Did you have grandparents growing up?
For a very short time. Very short time. I remember my grandmother on my mother's side and on my father's side, actually. I come from a family of departing early in life. They were not
Hmm.
here into their 70s and 80s, you know. My parents passed away early on in life. Like my mother hadn't even retired, so she was in her early 60s, and my dad was younger than that. My grandparents lived a little longer, not too much more though. But yeah, I do remember them, and I did have an opportunity to share some life with them, which
And this
was
was back
awesome.
east?
Yeah, South Carolina, and my mom's parents were in New York.
Oh,
Hmm.
okay. And so when did you come to California?
I came to California early 70s, mid
A
70s.
little while ago.
Yeah, not that long ago. And look, now that I say it and think about it, I'm like, dang, that was a long time ago.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, but all your children are here. They're local. You get to spend time with them. You get to see them. You are close friends with your exes. You're doing good in that department.
Yes.
A little bit at a time.
Yeah. No, it's not overwhelming. It's in passing, but those relationships are important to keep because we have children in common, you know.
Hmm.
Not only the ones that we have together, but with my second husband is his daughter that has sickle cell, and his daughter that was 4 years old when he and I met. So she was raised
Wow.
with my other two daughters. So um
You
uh
are her mom.
yeah.
Yes, you
I
are
would
her mom.
say,
And all I hear them call you is mom. I don't
mhm,
hear anything else. So
right, they
that
do.
is wonderful to see. But we live in the same community, and
Mhm,
that's how you and I met.
yes.
And the reason that I've said this a few times on this podcast, the reason that it caught my attention to talk about the elderly, about abuelitas, about grandparents to younger generations is because of where we live.
Mhm.
It's a community of 55 plus, and I had noticed that many of them, they arrive here, they have their own apartments, but then you don't see their children ever again. But I did notice one person going back and forth, up and down, up and around, and that is you. So let me ask you one important question. Do you think that the elderly are being overlooked?
Absolutely, absolutely. In many ways as well. Like here in the this complex, it's over 55. I believe that they said over 55 because if it's 65 or over, they would be responsible in having to check on them, the people, the tenants, and make sure that they're all right. Since it's 55 and over, you're on your own.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I believe now, this is my belief. They're not
Okay.
responsible if they don't see you for 2 weeks, they just don't see you. It's very rare that they'll knock. Now, me on the other hand, if you're missing in action, whether I know you or not, I will knock or ring your bell and say, "Hi, how are you? I haven't seen you in a long time." And they say, "Oh, really? Thanks for stopping by." And I'm like, "Okay, I'm just doing a wellness check."
No, you're like the police department without anybody calling in.
Kind of, sort of. If I miss you, if I don't see you, I'm going to check on you. And there was a time when I checked on a lady and she was not doing good. And shortly thereafter, she went on to be with the Lord. So to me, it's important. It's very
And
important.
I was actually going to ask you about that. If there was a particular moment that actually opened up your eyes to what was going on near you where you live.
Not a particular moment. It was basically just something that I've already done. I had no idea that I would ever knock on somebody's door and they would be um, have fallen out in a state of not being able to move
Oh my
themselves
goodness.
for a couple of days. I didn't know that. I just missed her. And actually, she has started showing me how to crochet different stitches. And
Oh.
and I didn't see her, and I'm like, okay, where's the lady at? And I went and I knocked on her door, and she didn't. I could hear her, so I went and got the manager. The manager came over. She had been there for 2 days.
Oh my
She just
goodness.
slid out of the recliner, was on the floor, and couldn't get up. So
Wow. Wow.
I don't know. I've just always been passionate about people. It's not just old people. It's just people, period. If I can help you, or if I- I'll inquire, I just want everybody to be well, you know. I have my
Oh.
backpack ministry too for the
And what is that?
homeless.
Tell us about that.
Yes, it's called Choose to Live, and we ask people to make a commitment. Like I'll say to you, if I'm talking to you about it, and I'll say, would you commit to carrying 2 backpacks and in your back seat? And if you see somebody on the street that needs help, that's homeless, asking for money, you can offer them a backpack. And if they say, yeah, just give it to them. And that's your commitment. I hope with us doing that, that will just tweak your heart to want to be a part of what we're doing. Donate and come help us to make
How
sure
do
that
you
these
get these
homeless.
backpacks? How do you fill them up with what? And how do you put out of your own money to buy all these products?
A, s- a lot of yeah, I do donate regularly, and then I ask, I do fundraisers. I ask
What a
companies that,
wonderful idea that backpack is,
yeah,
to
because and
show
it's
that
I'm
you
sorry.
care.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's full of stuff. And when you see someone that's in need, I give them a backpack, and just to see the shine on their faces, they just like,
Oh.
wow, because it's like full of stuff. Because I treat when I make a meal for you or I give you a backpack, I give you what I would want to receive if I was in a situation. So it's full of stuff. It's full of stuff, and
Uh,
blankets, hand
Cherie,
warmers, body warmers.
Cherie,
Yes, ma'am.
your name to me always denotes happiness. Cherie, it always denotes happiness. And you just said that you have always been like this. Have you always been like this as a child? And was this something that was influenced by someone, your mom,
Mom
a
and
friend,
dad. My mom
your
and
mom and
dad.
dad? Tell me
Yeah.
about them.
I really attribute it because they were always family. We had a small family. It was just mother, father, and I had a brother. It was just the four of us. But whenever my dad, he owned his own business. And I guess the guys would come through selling this, selling that, selling this, and he always had stuff. And he said, "Okay, we'll divide this up and give my aunt and, whoever needs it, everybody would be able to get something." They were my mom's all they were just givers. When I left home, my high school girlfriends always kept in touch with my mother. Always I'll call and they would be at my house. And I'm like, "What you doing at my house? I'm in
Oh.
California." You know, but my mom
They
was
were not
that.
looking for you, Sheree.
No, they was looking for my mother. Yeah. They were
And
looking
your
for her.
parents have been gone for a while?
Yes.
They
Yeah.
died young?
Yeah. My mother,
Oh.
I was finally able to get my mom to California because
Oh.
after I had went home to visit, and while I was home, actually I was checking on my dad because he was sick. Well, while I was there, he passed away. So I didn't
Oh, I'm
come back to
sorry.
California. I stayed in New York for 2 years, and I'm like, "Ma, you gotta come with me because I have to go." It was New York again after I
Mhm.
had been in California, fun, sunshine, my own
Right.
place. And so I was
Right.
anxious to get back, but I got a good job while I was there in New York at a TV station, Channel 9. So I was able to
Oh.
transfer from Channel 9 in New York to Channel 9 in LA when I came
Woohoo!
back. And I was trying to get my mother back here, but she wouldn't come because my brother was still there. And and
Oh.
the love for a mother and their son, I don't have
Uh-huh.
any boys,
Absolutely.
but that is some kind of love, and she wouldn't leave. So finally, I got her here. So she was here when she passed
She was
away.
able to enjoy some of the California sun for a while.
Yes.
But I want to touch on another little point. That is so wonderful that uh, this is your legacy. This is what they gave you. This is how they formed you, and you're a big believer in faith and God and all of
Yes.
that. Yeah. So yeah, we're right there together. But I wanted to ask you something because I mentioned it a little while ago. We kind of didn't touch on that. Am I wrong when I say that a lot of family members who drop off their mothers, fathers here never come back until they have passed away?
Yeah, they are kind of I think I think today.
You can be brutally honest because this has been my observation. I see most of the tenants. This is like what, almost 200 apartments, and
Mhm.
people come and go. People live and die more frequent than I ever have seen in my life. And sometimes you see when the person moves in and the family's so happy. Oh, mom, you have your place. Look, let me help you with this. Never to be seen again until the day that they come to um, they're already gone. And that is what I was talking about, the lack of communication with the newer generations in which they need to ask more questions of their family members. Don't just drop them off like they're going on a trip, but be consistent, be there to help them because I find people like you who are amazing, who are angels sent from heaven, who God has designed for these people who you go and clean after, you go and cook for, you go and take to dialysis, go and pick up their cars. I mean, wait a minute. Where is the family? Because they're not all alone. They have family members. So how do we embrace this new form of communication? How do we convince them?
Convince them, I don't know. I feel in my heart is what I was called to do, and I don't question what God calls me to do. So rather than I could
Excuse me.
just say, "Well, let me talk to your relative, why are they not helping you?"
No, no, no. I'm not saying it in that regard. I'm just saying this is not just happening in this building. As a matter of
Right.
fact, in this city, there are multiple buildings, uh, different streets, and they're all 55 plus. These
Mhm.
are all elderly. And it is a low percentage because I've been looking into it. It's not everybody, but there needs to be a little more communication and a little more acceptance that these people need your help. your family member, your mom or your aunt or Tia Cristina or Abuelita Pancha that you dropped off at that apartment, they need your help. So it only behooves you to go ahead and provide a little bit of that assistance. I know people have busy lives, but a little bit of time.
But it's based on a broken system to begin with. Okay, because um uh my neighbor lives alone. His daughter comes once or twice a week, and he has a social worker that also comes. If the social worker, and the social worker is the point person.
Okay.
If you don't have anyone at all, okay, the social worker is the point person. So I think she would be the one that could um start the ball
Bridge that gap.
rolling on getting him somebody that can come a couple of times a week to see to his needs, to keep him company, to talk to him, to make sure that he gets proper exercise, at least that he comes out of the house and gets sunshine. You know how many people don't get sunshine? You know how many people don't get a hug in a week? Sometimes I'm that person.
My guest, Nancy Sandoval, said that there was a research made where people need to have a minimum of 20 hugs a day. And some people go without even one. Should we
Right.
start a hug campaign?
We should.
We
Absolutely.
should.
Because I'm short on hugs. Oh, in a week.
Because, in one of my shows, I remember saying, because I had looked into this, that we have like 60 some million abuelitos and abuelitas in this country. If we only took half of that, which is the women, 30 million, cut it in half, we could join hands and go around this country 2 to 3 times. And we could hug each other if we could just create that chain across Alaska and Hawaii.
You know what? I truly believe that it would be a very popular thing too, because if you notice, it's very, very, very few people that will say no to a hug. Very
Yes.
few people.
Yeah,
Very few.
it's true.
And
It's
when,
true.
and even when I'm giving out my backpacks to the homeless, could be a
They
little
hug you?
sketchy. This guy, yes, he was so excited
Oh,
about getting his backpack.
oh.
He was like, and he asked, he said, "Can I hug you?" How can I say no? Of course you can hug me.
How old was he, you think?
He wasn't that
He was
old.
young.
He might have been late 50s, early 60s. Young. Yeah.
Wow.
And he had this
Wow.
little statue about this big. He said, "Can I give this to you?" It was a little Jesus. I said, "Of course you can." You know? I mean, that hug thing is serious. Hugging
We
is,
need to start a hug campaign.
yes.
Entre Abuelitas challenges everyone. As soon as you hear the show, turn around and hug the first person next to you. Where's my dog? Get yours, Sheree. I'm surprised they haven't been barking and pretended to be special guests of honor. Well,
Well,
they are. They are.
she's right down here by me, so
Yeah,
that's
I
what
won't
she
even
is.
say her name
Yeah.
because then
So
woo.
the
But listen, um, the one thing that also is important to mention that the lack of communication with the elderly, especially your elderly relatives, affects their emotional being, their health. Calls. Give them a call. If you can show up for that hug, send them a card. Evite. Someone reminded me that is free and it's online. Just go ahead and send them an Evite and have your mom open up the computer and show it to them so they can be happy about something. Chat with them.
It's so different now because, I mean, even when I was in California, my mom was in New York. I took and that was back when you had to pay for long distance call. I worked a job to pay for my phone bill because I would talk to my mother a couple of times a day. I could not be without her, a
Oh,
couple of times a day. And um now it's just so different, and I've heard it from other grannies and moms as well. It's like that communication is not there. It's a, I'm not blaming anybody. Everybody's going through
It's
their thing
no,
or whatever,
mamita,
but reach out. It's simple. Just
it's not about blame. It's
no.
definitely not about blame. It's about understanding that as human beings, and you're going to be there one day. They're going to be there and they're going to feel exactly what's going on. And they're going to go somewhere in the back of their mind. Do you remember that woman on that podcast? She kept talking about us, the elderly. I'm like, yes, my darling, I might be gone and probably I'll be there still looking younger than you, but no. But yes, no, we need to communicate. And it's up to abuelitas too. Open up a little more, say what's on your mind. Give them a call and explain, hey, listen, you know what? I do need a little help. Is there any time that you can spare so you can help me with this or that? Because it is important. Don't put yourself in any perils or any risk that you're going to fall if there's something that you need to do, because then you're going to be alone and in a hospital. No, don't do that. Don't do that. But the love that you have for the people that live here, the things that you do for them, my angel, my beautiful Sheree. What do you tell all these people who I'm going to encourage to watch this podcast because it is about them? What do you tell them? How is it that how big is your love for them?
I would tell them that your granny is your covering. She's the one that's gonna come no matter what. She's the one that prays for you and keeps you lifted up to God every day, probably all day while she's sitting there by herself. She's watching her stories and she's praying. She's got her rosary in her hand, or, she's on her knees. She's praying for you. She's keeping you covered for your safety, for your health, for your wealth, for your financial status, for your husband and your wife or whatever. She covers you. And it won't hurt for you to just reach out and be consistent with your reaching out to just make sure she's okay, or just ask her if she's okay, or just update her or up on the latest of what's going on. And it doesn't have to necessarily be with you, just some quick conversation if you don't have time, but just it's your covering. So don't lose your
Yes.
covering. Don't be out of touch with your covering.
With your roots, with who you truly are. That's who you are. That's your blood. And Sheree, you're an amazing human being. I've said it time and time again on the show. Let me find another word. Where are the synonyms for amazing? Somebody find them. But you are kind. You are full of happiness and laughter, even when times are down. There have been moments when I have been going totally insane, and you just appeared in front of me only to calm me down and tell me everything is going to be okay. And that is exactly what we all need to hear. I thank you so much for being you, for being beautiful. I mean, let me tell you, black totally don't crack, because you look so gorgeous and so young. Look at my wrinkles. Even though I heard that wrinkles are stories and gray hairs are victories. And I truly like that point. Thank you, Sheree Johnson. Thank you for being you. I love you dearly. Please stick around. Come back to visit us another time on Entre Abuelitas. Anything else you want to tell us?
My pleasure. Thank you for having me on the show. I had a wonderful time.
Oh, thank you. How fast it went by, huh?
It went by very fast.
Thank you. And to all of you, mis amores, please do me a favor. Call your abuelita, and not because you're falling apart, but because your life is doing so good that she deserves a front row seat to your life. Tell her about it, and then come back and visit us next time on Entre Abuelitas. I'm Liliana Montenegro with Sheree Johnson, thanking you for your company. Nos vemos. Adios.
Bye-bye.